Thank you everyone for subscribing to Infinitely Productions. If you have not done so, please click the bell and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy our content.
Now, the government's challenge was to prove that this seemingly feeble, confused man was actually a criminal mastermind of New York's Genovese crime family. In May of 1990, the FBI arrested Vincent Gigante. Gigante didn't act like a man who ruled a crime family with over 1,000 made members and associates. But the government believed he had ordered 6 murders and masterminded a $1 million mafia extortion scheme. As Gigante was taken to the federal courthouse, reporters flocked to get a look at the mysterious godfather.
Out comes this disheveled, old-looking individual who's supposedly the boss of the most powerful crime family in the United States. It's just a jarring sight.
Prosecutors claimed that Gigante's erratic behavior was nothing but a ruse intended to keep him out of jail.
The only important thing to him was power, and the only way to maintain that power was not to be convicted. So he would allow himself to be embarrassed, to be actually ridiculed. He didn't care, because he knew within his own environments he was known as a godfather, and that's what counted to him.
The importance of power was something Gigante had learned about growing up on the streets of Lower Manhattan. In the early 1920s, Italian immigrants Salvatore Gigante and his wife Yolanda settled in Manhattan's Greenwich Village neighborhood.
It was an area of an Italian enclave in the vicinity of NYU and Washington Square Park. His parents had lived there almost from the first day they arrived from Naples.
Yolanda gave birth to her son Vincent on March 29, 1928. He was one of 5 children. This did not constitute a large family among the Italian immigrants in the village. In fact, there were so many children in the neighborhood, the Gigantes had trouble calling Vincent home for supper.
There were several Vinnies or Vincents in the neighborhood. Everyone would get a label, Vinny Four Eyes or Vinny Long Legs. His mother always referred to him as Chinzenzo, which is a diminutive for Vincent, and he became known as Chin, Vinny Chin.
As a young boy, Chin Gigante's education began on the poor stoops and alleyways of Greenwich Village. The streets were ruled by La Cosa Nostra, or Mafia. Chin learned early that men like Vito Genovese and Lucky Luciano were to be respected and feared.
If you wanted to park your truck in a spot where it could be easily unloaded, you had to pay somebody. If you wanted to get your truck loaded quickly, you had to pay somebody.
In grammar school, Gigante was tall for his age, with broad shoulders and a stocky build. He applied the lessons he learned in the streets to the schoolyard.
He used to extort 15 cents from kids from their lunch money of the 25 cents that their parents had given them. The kids paid up. They didn't want to deal with the Chin.
In 1942, Chin Gigante dropped out after the 9th grade. At 15, he started to learn the tailor's trade.
It was not at all unusual for first-generation Italian families to encourage their children to find employment as quickly as possible.
But Gigante never worked as a tailor. Instead, he hung out in the village and looked for opportunities to make a quick buck. One possibility was neighborhood boxing matches or club fights.
You had to sell tickets. You got a percentage of the tickets you sold in the neighborhood.
Chin was good with his hands. I've heard that he won 13 out of 14 boxing matches. I've heard he won 23 out of 24. Some of those bouts, no matter what the correct numbers are, were obviously fixed. Mob guys hung out in boxing rings, always looking to get a handle or a piece on an up-and-coming young fighter.
One of those mobsters was Thomas "Tommy" Ryan Eberly. Eberly liked what he saw in the young boxer and decided to become Gigante's manager. Gigante would canvass the neighborhood selling tickets for his matches and chatting up the locals.
I grew up in that same era. Neighborhood fighters were like stars. They were important people.
In the ring, Gigante earned a reputation as a quick-witted boxer with powerful fists. The mob took notice.
Vincent Gigante was beginning to show entrepreneurial spirit at this rather young age. He was already showing how he could work for bookmakers, how he could bring income in both for them and for himself. He was showing them that he was a good worker, he was an earner, and in fact he was making his move to be part of organized crime.
During his late teens and early 20s, Chin was a gangster in training. He did the things that all wise guy wannabes do when they're looking to move up in the life of crime and become, associated with the mob family of choice. He was involved in bookmaking. He was a runner.
Then, in 1950, at the age of 21, Gigante found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He was involved in a bookmaking ring, trying to hustle bets at a college in Brooklyn. And at that time, there was a crackdown by the local district attorney.
Vincent Gigante was convicted and served 60 days in a workhouse for distributing basketball betting cards to students. When he got out, the mob welcomed him back with open arms. Over the next few years, Gigante made a living as a bookie, chauffeur, and bodyguard for the mafia's elite. But Chin was still waiting for a chance to make his mark. He was 29 when he earned the assignment that would make his career: to kill a mob boss, a godfather named Frank Costello. By 1950, Vincent Gigante had been a boxer and bookie for the New York Mafia. Now 21 years old, he decided to start a family. That year, he married Olympia Grippa. The couple settled into an apartment on Bleecker Street in Greenwich Village, not far from where Gigante had grown up.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.